got some very special guests in the studio. And this
Very
is the first time I've ever had a chance to interview with them, and I am so excited about having Detroit's own Spinners in the studio. Thank you so much for coming down.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Henry Fambrough, Jesse Peck, and Charlton Washington of the Spinners. Now, I want to go back. First, we got to talk to Henry. We got to go back to the early days. You guys have been together almost 60 years.
Why you say that, man?
I'm sorry. We got to start there, man. I mean, that's just no, really though. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, on the right side, we started in 1954.
Wow.
Amateurs.
Okay.
In fact, we were still in school together. You know?
Okay.
We went to grad school in Ferndale, Michigan, Ferndale High School, and from there, we started entering different contests and started winning.
Wow.
And things started happening for us, and we said, hey, we might maybe do something with this.
Wow.
So we went on from there.
So I was watching that Unsung, and I understand you guys got paid $5 for singing on the corner that first time, man.
Wyoming.
Right there on 8 Mile in Wyoming, huh?
Yeah. Wyoming 8 Mile Road, right in front of a Cunningham drugstore. and we were standing there just singing, relaxing, like the guy back then. They on the street corner, everybody had a group in the neighborhood, Mm-hmm. And we was standing there singing. This guy walked up. He says, "Sing the song by the Everly Brothers."
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "I give you $5." We sang it. We sang that song. That was our first payday.
And you got hooked.
We got hooked. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
Got a dollar.
Who were the guys in the group back then?
Back then it was me, Billy, Purvis Jackson, Bobby Smith, and Chico Edwards.
Okay.
George Dixon. George Dixon left in 61.
Okay.
When I got drafted in the service in 61, so he left the group and Chico came in.
Okay.
I understand that when I left, they had a gig in Idlewild, and they went by to pick him up. He came out and told him he couldn't go because he wasn't singing that type of music anymore.
Okay.
And Bobby said, "How come you couldn't wait till we finish the gig?" So that's how Chico got in the group.
Wow. Okay. Well, I want to go back to some of the early tunes like "It's a Shame," and there was, of course, a hit right before that too, as well. That's what Girls Are Made For. And
that was in 1961.
1961.
Yeah, that was our very first record. That was produced by our first manager. First record company, Tri-Fi Records. He formed that record company in 59.
That was Harvey Fuqua.
Harvey Fuqua. He
Right.
used to be the leader of the Moonglows.
Yeah.
And he became our first manager. And him and Gwen wrote that song, That's What Girls Are Made For. And Bobby had a song that he had written called Heebie Jeebies.
Don't think I have that one.
Don't too many people have that one, yeah. And it came out in 61, in the spring of 61, and got in the top 20s.
Wow.
And we was gone from there, and we started touring, and we was out like 3 or 4 months.
Let me go back to 1961.
Okay.
Now, this is old school. We really need to blow the dust off of this one. I'm going to play this, and then we're going to take some calls.
Okay.
Wow. This is a 78.
Yeah, that was a 78. No, that's 45.
Yeah. Our special guest in the studio, the Spinners, 298-7923, toll free 1-866-OJAM. Call up and say hello.
Yeah, live in the living color.
It's the Old School House Party. We are blowing the dust off the oldies. This is Gerald McBride, hanging out with Andre and Lady T, and our very special guest in the studio, the Spinners, Henry Fambrough, Jesse Peck, and Charlton Washington. And you guys, of course, just joined the group recently, so we want to just find out what your experience is and being one of the Spinners, one of the member of the legendary group.
Okay, just let me say this: Charlton Washington, Jesse Peck, and we also have Marvin Marvin Taylor in the group.
Okay.
And Bobby's still here, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so Bobby's still here. So
you and Bobby still holding it down.
We're still doing what we can to keep it with the young Hooper samples.
We're making it hard.
Well, in a minute, I just want to talk to you guys and just kind of find out what that audition was like and how you became a part of it.
Wow.
Oh, Henry, is that funny?
No.
Wow.
I hear it sounds like Henry's got a story to tell about that audition.
There are a few jokes in there, here and there.
How they became spinners.
Jesse, were you under pressure?
No, well, there was no pressure. I felt that I was destined. I felt that this was
He
what
put
I was
pressure
going
on
for.
himself.
Right. You know what? It was after the audition. It was 3 long months, just agonizing.
Waiting.
Waiting. It's the waiting that drove me crazy.
Okay, but Jesse, hold that story. I want to go back to 1970 now.
Okay.
With this song, It's a Shame. Now, you guys were with Motown. Now, it took 15 years, is that right, before you guys actually got a hit through Motown?
We had a hit in 1965 and 66.
Okay.
I'll Always Love You.
Okay. On Motown?
Yes, on Motown. It was written by Ivy Hunter.
Okay.
And at that time, we was told that it sold close to 1 million records. But at that time, you know, Motown didn't certify their records. They didn't certify gold.
Okay.
So we didn't have no way of knowing how much, how many copies were sold, you know. But the shipping department, Purvis worked in the shipping department.
So you guys had to, wait a minute, let me get this straight. You guys had to take other jobs.
Oh yeah, we worked there.
You really worked at Motown.
We was on the payroll.
Doing
Purvis and myself was on the payroll at Motown. I was a chauffeur for Barry Gordy's mom, Mrs. Gordy. I drove her around. Okay, in between engagements. Purvis worked in the shipping department. And Bobby used to drive different artists to different engagements.
Okay.
Okay. And so we worked in between engagement at Motown.
Okay.
So
Wow.
we drew paychecks.
Barry knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
So get his money's worth.
Yeah.
So now tell us about this song that was just kind of sitting on the shelf, It's a Shame, written by Stevie Wonder. I understand that Stevie, for some reason, just didn't record this song.
No, he recorded it. We recorded that song 2 years before it was released. Now, after we recorded the song, they had a lady that approved everything, and anything that she doesn't like, she just put it on her desk and let it sit there. And so, It's a Shame sat on her desk for about almost 2 years. And I think Stevie got a little upset. He went to Barry, and things started happening. And they released the song, and it took off.
Last time, G.C. Cameron on the lead vocals there with you guys in the Spinners.
Right. G.C. Cameron. All right.
Man,
Yeah,
that
man.
was the jam back in the day. Now, of course, that was the hit with Motown. Then you guys leave Motown. What was your reason for leaving Motown?
We left Motown because our contract was out.
Okay.
We signed with Motown in 1963, and our contract was up in 1970.
Okay.
So we left on a hit record, so which was good for us. And when we signed with Aretha Franklin, should I say, is the reason that we really got to Atlantic, because we was on a tour with her.
Okay.
After we left Motown, and she recommended Atlantic Records. She said, I'm on Atlantic, and she said that would be a good company for y'all, and she put us in contact with Greenberg and Atlantic Records.
Wow.
And it went from there.
And you signed with Atlantic Records, and that's where you met the great writer Tom Bell.
Tom Bell, yeah.
Wow. And that just had to just really change things for you guys.
Well, it changed because we was the last group that signed with Atlantic, and Tom Bell was the last writer that signed with Atlantic. So they gave him the whole Atlantic recording sheet, okay? Every artist. And he could have recorded anybody he wanted to. And he said, I want the Spinners.
Spinners, Stylistics.
Yep. He said, I want the Spinners. That's
Wow.
what he said. He said he remembered us from the Uptown Theater in Philadelphia. We used to go there in 1961 when That's the Girl Mayflower was out. because we had to stop and make a cameo appearance there on our way to appear at the Apollo Theater. And so we stopped there and did that show. He said, I remember you guys because of one note, and he called that note, whatever the note is, on our unsung.
Yeah.
He said, I remember that note. He said, because no other group sang like that. He said, I remember that. He said, that's what made me want to record you guys.
Wow. So when you first met him, when you guys first met up, your first meeting, what was the chemistry like? Did you know that this guy could make such fabulous hits?
No. Because he came to town he came to Detroit with his tape recorder to interview us. And the first thing he said, we sit down and talk, we introduced, and got to know each other,
Right.
And he said, what I want you to do, he said, I want each one of you guys to sing whatever you want to sing, what's comfortable for you, sing it for me in my tape recorder. And from Purvis all the way down, 5 guys. And we sang, and he said, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going back to Philadelphia, and I'm going to give my writers your voices. He said, they're going to write for your voice, not for the group. They're going to write for the voice. And he said, I'll be back within, I think he said 2 months, a couple of months, or 3 months, or whatever it was. He came back to Detroit, and he had I'll Be Around, Could Have Been Falling in Love, One More Song, and Just You and Me, Baby.
Wow.
Okay? Now, when they released the song, How Could I Let You Get Away? That was it.
Right.
And when they released the first hit on the Atlantic record, it was I'll Be Around and How Could I Let You Get Away?
Wow.
And they started playing How Could I Let You Get Away? Okay? And disc jockey in what city was that? Buffalo, New York. A disc jockey in Buffalo, New York. At that time it was a 45, So he flipped it and started playing It's a Shame. I'm gonna say I'll Be Around.
I'll Be Around.
And that record took off so fast. That record right there. It took off so fast we didn't look back, man. And let me say this to you. When he gave us the song, he said, by the way, you guys are going to be the #1 group within a year. And we looked at him and said, yeah, sure. Because we hadn't heard that in a long time, man.
The rest is history, man.